you've got mail.
The highest number of votes cast by an individual player was 813, and every single one was for Celeste. Gosh, every day we stray further from God.
Well, yeah, that's Celeste, the most mobile disruptor in Deadlock. She isn't just a damage-dealing hero, even though in the current meta it may look like that. In reality, she's a movement god, capable of bunny hopping, air strafing and chaining dodges in the way few others can. All this allows her to stay alive longer, arrive just in time to back up teammates with extra damage, and keep your opponents on the edge with sustained pressure rather than raw damage bursts. Because of that, she rewards players who survive longer, move smarter, and as a result stack more and more damage over time. The longer you're alive and fight, the more dangerous you become. Celeste's base air control and stamina give her unique mobility among Deadlock heroes. She has enhanced air acceleration, movement with reduced gravity field, and options that make bunny hopping an actually viable movement style. Her gun might feel annoying at first because of its slow velocity, but it has no damage fall-off and can bounce to secondary targets. That means that you can hit enemies in more unconventional way, for example behind walls if angled correctly. The most prime example would be getting your opponents who is hiding behind the guardian while being low. Let's take a look at her abilities and some practical tricks you can start using in your games. Celeste's first ability is Light Eater, a 10-meter cone blast that deals spirit damage, debuffs enemies to take increased spirit damage from your left clicks, and grants your spirit lifesteal when hitting debuff targets. You can tell if the enemy is marked by this distinct blue thingy around the hero. This ability increases your sustain and spikes your damage. Hitting Light Eater before committing lets you stay alive longer, which results in more damage output through damage stacking. Your first is especially strong during laning phase, so I recommend putting early points into it to secure trades and maintain pressure on the line. Her second ability, Dazzling Trick, wraps Celeste into a shield that increases her movement speed. If the shield breaks, it silences and damages nearby enemies. Silence is huge in this game, and while being an obvious defense tool, it's also an incredibly strong offensive ability because of its disruptive potential. First of all, it's instant house. Secondly, it forces enemies to choose between breaking it and risking being silenced or backing off and losing tempo. Used well, it allows you to initiate even though you are not a tanky hero. You can safely dive in and pray you can make it back alive. Thanks to bunny hops and slides, you can make it work. Upgrading this ability improves barrier and silence duration, but I generally prioritize upgrading it later in the game. Third ability is Radiant Daggers, which calls down beam of light in a targeted area after a short delay. Enemies hit take spirit damage, and each hero stack grants you buffs that increase your spirit damage and fire rate. This time Valve added a clear visual indicator of your stacks. Just look at Celeste's horn. This would be your primary ability to spam, and it has the biggest impact on her scaling. Those stacks amplify your damage throughout the fight, and the idea behind is rather simple. Weave around dropping daggers on grouped enemies and keep spamming left click between cooldowns. The equation is simple here. More uptime equals more stacks equals more damage. Her ultimate is Bouncing Orb of spirit damage. When it hits a hero, it deals damage, slows movement, and reduces dash distance, and then bounces to another enemy. If it doesn't immediately find a new target, it lingers before expiring. The bounces prioritize heroes, and every additional hit multiplies the pressure. In teamfights, this ability suffocates enemy movement and heavily punishes grouped players. The best timing is usually toward the end of the fight, or at least after enemies have wasted their escape buttons. Try to eyeball when dashes and stamina are low, that's your moment. One important detail is that the cooldown scales depending on how effectively you use it. If you don't get a full value, the game actually refunds you with a shorter cooldown, which makes it more forgiving, especially for new Deadlock players. Okay, now it's time to put together the ultimate Celeste belt. We're starting with spirit investment in this particular order, then moving into our green items for vitality, finishing the early game with two separate 4.8k investments into those core aspects. Stamina Mastery is a great pick to further develop movement, and Spirit Lifesteal is just based. High velocity is necessary for Celeste, believe me. Denying Souls Orbs with a default velocity is a pain, and we don't want to lag behind in terms of farm. We start our mid-game with Torment Pulse, which is very powerful, especially since it synergizes with our ability to chase opponents. From there, we continue buying purples, reducing cooldowns, and picking up greater expansion to amplify the impact of both daggers and ultimate. And this one is just for damage. Gun investment is honestly one of the hardest parts of Celeste build, especially when you're trying to reach 4.8k investment effectively. I usually skip skip all gun items except high velocity till the late game. Some combinations technically work, but they eat too many item slots. My preferred choices are Kinetic Dash and Burst Fire. Kinetic Dash fits naturally because you move a lot and get those extra bullets easily. Burst Fire is fine, especially when other tier 3 items don't really fit Celeste. Therefore, the added slide distance is alright. You can experiment with Ballistic Enchantment, imbuing either your third ability or your ultimate. While it extends range like Greater Expansion does, the problem is that we ideally need both abilities, so I'm currently skipping it. In the late game, we grab Infuser as our primary sustain. Escalating Exposure and Spell Slinger are very strong on this character, and we are finishing our build with even lower cooldowns, aiding disable to our ultimate and Ricochet to make even more impact with our left clicks. Celeste shines when you stay alive longer. She doesn't spike like a burst nuker. She accumulates power as the fight goes on because of her third ability stacks damage, and her lifesteal sustain her. Your bunny hopping and air movement isn't just ADHD maxing, it's functional. It increases your speeds, lets you be slippery as hell, and generally makes you unpredictable to target. Use your bouncy projectiles to poke around corners and hit multiple targets. Shooting at surfaces near enemies will often auto-aim to them, and the most consistent way I found is shooting at the ground in front of them. I deeply believe that there is no particular matchup where Celeste would really struggle. At the same time, I believe that she will fit any team with the current nature of the game. Celeste isn't a traditional spirit nuker, she is a movement-driven disruptor that wins by outmaneuvering opponents and stacking more and more spirit damage. And that's Celeste. If this guide helped, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more Deadlock content. And I'm seriously, thanks to everyone who's been supporting my previous videos. I really appreciate it. Bye for now, and see you in the next one.